Hey everyone, you're tuned into InfoQuench with Jeff.
And Amy. Join us as we talk about anything.
And everything.
All the stuff that makes life interesting.
So let's get to it. Hey everybody, you're listening to InfoQuench with Jeff.
And Amy.
And today's podcast is all about drinking.
Well, sort of.
Not drinking and getting sloshed, but the origins of the names of certain drinks.
That's right. We're going to be talking about the origin of common cocktail names.
And any of those cocktails, you could get sloshed if you want to, or you could just have one. It's up to you. It's your life, people.
Yes, it is your life.
What would you say is one of the most common cocktail names?
Well, I think this whole idea for this episode came about when we were discussing the origin of one of your latest and greatest favorite drinks, the Moscow Mule.
Yes, which I've actually renamed the Nicaraguan Mule because I use Nicaraguan rum instead of vodka. But yes, it consists of vodka, ginger beer, the spicier the better, and a little bit of lemon juice. Lime juice. I like using lemon juice, though, to be honest.
Lemon lime's what's the difference, really.
And then you just put lots of ice and you shake it up really nice.
So this one has a very interesting story, and when I was searching for the origin of drink names, some drinks have very straightforward stories. Others have a lot of people trying to lay claim to the names of cocktails.
Right. There's a big,
There's some debates going on.
There's some debates
online.
going on.
So I'll give you some, and just take that all with a grain of salt. But this one around the Moscow Mule it seems to be pretty consistent, the story behind it, and it involves the mule and the copper mug. If you've ever ordered a Moscow Mule in an establishment, you'll notice it's served in sort of a signature copper mug.
You're right. I have noticed that.
Yes.
But I never really noticed it until just now. Like, you know what I mean? When I got it, I wasn't like, oh, a copper mug. But now that you say it, it has always come in a copper mug, and I never even really paid too much mind of it. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, you will now. So this is how it all started. Back in 1941, a lady named Sophie Berezinski was a woman on a mission. She'd actually immigrated to the U.S. from Russia.
Okay.
And she had 2,000 solid copper mugs. So her father had owned and operated a copper factory in Russia.
Oh, okay.
Known as the Moscow Copper Company. Very well named.
Yeah, very.
And so in Russia, she'd sort of created the design for this copper mug, the original copper mug that's so famously linked to the Moscow Mule. And her father ran the presses that stamped out the mugs. Ah. So the one tool, though, that her father and she both lacked was sales skills. And they weren't able to sell the mugs in Russia. So she made the decision to go to the U.S. and try her luck there. So after some time, she had no luck.
Right, no luck whatsoever.
No luck. And she began desperately, just searching out a buyer. And she happened to walk into the Cock and Bull pub. I can't make these names up.
Really?
But a pub named the Cock and Bull.
Where?
It's in the States.
You don't know what state, though?
I don't know what specific state.
Okay.
I'm just, I don't know what specific state.
Okay.
And it was just the perfect day where she ran into a Mr. John Martin who had recently purchased Smirnoff Vodka Distillery.
Ah.
And he was having a lot of trouble selling vodka. He was also successful head of the company that imported A1 sauce.
Interesting. So they just teamed up and they made...
So she got to talking with Jack Morgan about Smirnoff. And then the owner of the Cock and Bull pub was also trying to introduce his own brand of ginger beer.
Oh, wow.
So essentially the three of them got together and came up with the drink and how they could combine it into her copper mugs. So they basically spent hours just sort of developing the drink and created the cocktail. And so the Moscow Mule was born back in 1941.
1941. And I just recently discovered them, to be honest. I haven't been drinking them for too long.
So it's the perfect combination of the vodka and the ginger beer and the lime. And it's housed in a solid copper mug that kept the drink cool. Oh. And the copper is said to enhance the flavor and the aroma.
Huh.
and it became very, very popular, and the rest is history.
What about one of your favorite drinks, which is sangria? Is there any story behind that?
You just can't randomly throw drinks at me. You have to.
Okay.
Well,
yeah, right. I can't do that.
But you can't randomly throw drink names at me. There are a lot of drinks. We've got a half an hour.
I don't think I've ever
researched
thrown a
certain
drink
drinks.
at you.
No, you haven't. This isn't reality TV, folks. There's no drink throwing. But the name Moscow Mule, I guess you can say Moscow is quite obvious because it came from that Moscow company.
Definitely.
Where the copper mugs were developed. And then the mule, well, people say it's just because the ginger beer gives it a kick of flavor.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's what people speculate the name came from, but it was said to just be randomly selected after those three individuals got drunk on an afternoon at the Cock and Bull.
I love that. I love it when a plan comes together. They're like the drink ingredient A-team. You know, they all came together and made something that's still going these days. You know, you can go to pretty much any bar and get a Moscow Mule.
Well, yes.
Not too many can you get a Nicaraguan Mule though.
No, that's homegrown.
Yeah. No, that's good
some
stuff.
Homegrown goodness.
Try it, people. Like I told you, get what is the name of the rum again?
Florida Caña.
Florida Caña, that's it. Florida Caña rum. The older the better, and the darker the better. Then spicy ginger beer, and then lime juice, and then ice.
And love.
Mix it all up.
So in looking at cocktail names, and there were specific ones I looked up, so don't just be throwing ones at me.
Sangria.
And I didn't torture myself with a numbered list of cocktail names.
Okay, so we're just going to try
to
to get through however many we can. So.
But in doing it, I was interested about the origin of the word cocktail.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I have no idea.
I bet you don't dare guess.
Does it have something to do with the bird? A bird, maybe?
No, that's what I thought too. But according to chowhound.com, and again, there's a lot of different ideas around this, but they did quite a thorough analysis, and they felt that this is the where it came from. So a perky, cocked, which is where the cocktail comes from, or raised up tail on a horse, like on a racing horse.
Yeah.
It's a sign of vim and vigor.
Ah.
So unscrupulous horse traders... Those unscrupulous horse traders. In the 18th century, they'd put ginger and or pepper in a place that horses surely didn't want it. Up their butts. They put some ginger or pepper up their butts in order to make them seem more frisky because it would make their tails perk up, and people buying the horses would say, "Oh, look.
This one's got lots of energy."
Yes.
We're going to call him Pepper.
And it just so happens that ginger and pepper were also common ingredients that were used to liven up some alcoholic drinks at that time. So by extension, people started to say cocktail.
Interesting.
Like cocked tail of the horse. And eventually they started to, expand that, and they would make drinks with a lot of different bitters and but the name cocktail from the cocked up tail of the horse stuck around because of that, ginger or pepper stimulant So that's some tricky business, those horse traders.
That is some tricky business.
I thought they're looking at their teeth, but I guess they're looking at their tails.
Or maybe they're not looking, but they're just like, they're noticing that they have a little bit more pith and vinegar in them when it's actually pepper.
Here's an easy one.
Butt pepper. Yeah.
Give me an easy one. Mai Tai.
Mai Tai. No, I don't know. I hope you're not going to quiz me on all these because I don't know the origins.
Oh, no, I'm not.
Oh,
no.
okay.
I wouldn't dare do that.
You're talking to our leaders. Our listeners.
Our leaders.
Take me to your leader.
The Mai Tai was invented in California in the 1940s. There's a lot happening in the 1940s.
Yeah, a lot of drinking.
Yeah, people coming out of the Depression, and maybe they were smack dab and just into the cocktail making. Anyways, I digress.
I don't know where you were going with that.
I don't know either. The Mai Tai actually it means good or nice in Tahitian.
That's it?
Yeah.
It means good. What is in
nice.
A Mai Tai?
It's made of rum and fruit juice.
Just regular fruit juice?
It's not something that
punch?
we have in a lot of bars here around St. John, New Brunswick.
No.
I think it's probably a bar standard, but usually when people go down south, maybe.
There are some great bars in St. John, too, that are distinctly focused on making great cocktails, and one is Port City Royal. They always have amazing drinks there, And they also have great drinks at the Scotch place.
Yes, Hopscotch.
Hopscotch, that's it. Yeah.
Yes, they've got some great. We've got
Definitely
great
check them out.
mixologists in the city. Is that what they're called? Mixologists.
Mixologists, or yeah.
There's probably some other fancy name for it.
I think that's a pretty good one, though.
But they make some damn good drinks.
They make some freaking good drinks. They do indeed.
The Screwdriver.
Yeah.
You know what a screwdriver is?
No.
Well,
It's orange juice and vodka, isn't it?
Yes, it is. So according to Business Insider, decades ago, there were American oil workers in the Persian Gulf, and they would discreetly add vodka to their orange juice while they were on the job. And because they didn't have spoons handy, they would often use a screwdriver to stir up the drink. And that's where the name is supposedly has come from. So it could go back even as far as World War II.
Yeah.
But the idea was that it was named because screwdrivers were used to mix them up.
I have to say, honey, this is a fascinating topic for a podcast.
Oh, well, thank you.
I really find this interesting because these are like names that we use quite often loosely, but there's a story behind them, and they're quite interesting.
I just had like some bad flashbacks around drinking screwdrivers.
Yeah.
Ooh.
For me, it's just
rough.
vodka straight.
Screwdrivers are rough.
Before dances.
Oh, I mean, champagne and, a nice champagne and vodka combination. Or not champagne, sorry. Champagne and orange juice combination for a mimosa is nice. But
yeah, mimosas are nice.
But the screwdriver, that's a little heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of mimosas, so they are usually done with, we use champagne, but you can use any kind of sparkling wine and fruit juice. And it's often drank at brunch.
Mm-hmm.
And do you remember when we were at the resort and I went in behind?
Yes.
There was an unmanned you're not allowed bar, or there was bottles of open champagne and orange juice on the buffet. And so I went over and started pouring my own mimosa, and I was scolded.
You were scolded quite.
Apparently you're not allowed to just free pour your own mimosas.
Nope.
So
they don't want the guests doing anything.
There's that. A little embarrassing, but I got my mimosa in the end.
Yep.
It's actually, so it's named after the name of a plant. There's like a mimosa tree, and it grows bright orange flowers that are said to be around the same color as what a mimosa would be.
Oh, wow.
If you think of it, you mix champagne and orange juice, that similar color.
I never,
so
it's funny because
the color.
I've known that's been called a mimosa for the longest time. I never even once thought, why is it called a mimosa?
No?
Now I know.
Now you know.
It's a tree or a plant. Interesting.
It is. These are great, if you're drinking it's good cocktail conversation, right?
We should do a photo of a mimosa tree or plant and then say, do you know what drink this is?
Yes.
Yeah. Just coming up with ideas.
Thanks, honey.
And those who listen to the podcast, will know.
They'll know what this plant is.
That's right.
Speaking of drinks named for color, there's also the Bellini.
Bellini, I have no idea what even that is. Like, I've never had one.
It's usually done with like a sparkling beverage with like a peach puree.
Oh, okay.
Or so it could be like prosecco.
Okay.
Would be a common one to mix and peach puree or some other kind of fruit puree. But I found peach bellinis are the most common.
Okay.
And they're very yummy. Yeah. Another great brunch beverage.
Never had one.
It's interesting that there's certain drinks that you can drink and it's okay to day drink them. Well, it's more
like mimosas are morning drinks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Breakfast.
Mimosas, Caesars. Yeah. Caesars are like a salad, really.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they are. I guess there's a Caesar salad, but they're sometimes now they come with the pickled beans and the celery, and it's a whole meal in a glass.
Yep.
Plus, you're getting your clam.
How did that one get its name, Caesar?
Well, I'll get to that in a minute.
Okay, I thought so.
I know. I went on my own tangent. So the Bellini was named after. Well, the inventor of the actual beverage was Giuseppe Cipriani, who's a founder of a bar in Venice. Harry's Bar. And he named the drink because he said there was a similar color often used by the Venetian artist Giovanni Bellini. So it's named after the artist.
Named after an artist.
He commonly used a color.
And what is the color? Peach, I guess, eh?
Yeah, it would be close to like a peach color.
Interesting.
So that's where the Bellini
What
came
is the
from.
alcohol of choice on that again? Vodka?
Well, often Prosecco.
Prosecco, oh yeah, okay.
Or some sort of sparkling
champagne
wine.
you could use. maybe.
All right. Oh, yes. So let's talk about the Caesar.
Yeah, Caesar.
This one.
Does it have to do with historical guy Caesar?
No, I would have thought that too. I think
Okay.
that's a pretty common. But do you remember we went to see Jim Gaffigan? We were lucky enough to see he was performing here in St. John, New Brunswick.
At the
TD
Center.
TD station.
Right. It's true.
It's all good. He was, and one of the things he commented about was that he had had a Caesar and he heard it was Canada's national cocktail. So I found that fascinating and I wanted to learn a little bit more about it.
Is it?
Well, according to the Globe and Mail, it's been described as both a national treasure and a fixture of Canadian life. So whether we call it a national cocktail or not, I don't know, but I'd say it is.
Clamato juice is just out of this world to Americans. They just don't get it at all.
Well, yeah.
Or
So
anybody.
I think I may have told this story on another episode, but I was in Old Orchard Beach and I was at a bar and I ordered a Caesar.
Yeah,
and they had no idea what it was. And I saw that they had I'm like, it's like kind of like a Bloody Mary, but it's made with Clamato juice. And the waitress is like, what's Clamato juice? And I'm like, well, it's
having to explain it.
It's like tomato juice, but it has clam juice in it. And she's like, clams have juice? And then I was like, oh, I just better order something else because the whole visual just became like, really disgusting.
Clams have juice and you want to drink it?
I know. Just picture like, how do you get the juice out of the clams? Are you wringing them out? Are they going through like, is it like how you juice a lemon? I don't know. But it's not a good visual.
It's odd to me that out of all things is a distinctively Canadian attribute.
So it was created in Calgary and again, lots of different stories around this, but the most popular story, according to the Globe and Mail, is that Walter Chell was born in Montenegro to a countess who died during his birth, and then he was raised in an Italian orphanage by Jesuits. He then learned the hotel business in Switzerland before immigrating to Canada with his wife, and he worked at the Calgary Inn. What quite a history this guy has,
yeah.
And he was asked to create a new cocktail for the 1969 opening of Marco's Italian restaurant. So taking some inspiration from a dish of his homeland called pasta vongole, he hand mashed the liquid from baby clams and mixed the juice with tomato, alcohol, and seasoning.
Oh, wow.
And then so he's basically trying to recreate a flavor similar to a pasta dish.
Yeah.
So where that came from. Then he experimented for almost 3 months before he came up with the perfect mix that he called the Caesar. So when he did it, there happened to be, when he finally got it all right, there happened to be a British man at the bar who tasted it and declared, "Walter, that's a damn good bloody Caesar." Do you want to do it with an accent, honey?
No, I would want to hear your accent.
That was my accent.
Oh, do it again?
There wasn't an accent.
Oh, do it with an accent then.
Walter, that's a damn good bloody Caesar.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Was it?
High five.
Did it sound British or did it sound Australian?
I could tell you really put your muscles into that one, though.
Yeah, you're just, yeah. Anyway, so he called it a damn good bloody Caesar, and that's how it got its more formal name, known as the Bloody Caesar. Well, and then the Duffy Mott Company made life easier for bartenders and Caesar lovers alike by introducing Mott's Clamato cocktail so that you wouldn't have to be, trying to find ways to get that juice out of those clams.
Is there actual clam juice in Clamato juice?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, like actual clam juice.
There is.
Interesting.
Absolutely. Many clams have given their lives for a good Caesar.
Wow.
So by the mid-1970s, it was one of the most popular drinks in Calgary.
Wow.
And then it basically spread across the country.
Did you ever hear of the sour toe?
And just one more little thing before I go
about the Caesar?
Yes.
Okay.
So Mott's Clamato juice accounts for about 95% of the country's Caesar mixes. And Canadians drank, so this is back in 2016 that they had these stats, they drank a staggering 33 million Mott's Caesars every month.
Holy
that year.
Jeez.
And well over 1 million Caesars every day.
How many clams is that?
So Mott's marketers were behind a petition to Parliament to officially declare it as a national cocktail.
Oh.
So that's probably where Gaffigan got it. And they partnered with the vodka company in promoting a National Caesar Day.
Wow.
Which I don't know what day it is, but we're going to have to look it up. We're going to have to celebrate it.
I have to humbly admit that I've never had a Caesar.
Now, what were you saying about a toe?
Sour toe. Have you heard about the sour toe cocktail from the Yukon in Dawson City?
Was that on when we watched Departures?
We watched a show.
Called Departures, which is an amazing show, by the way.
Exactly
if you like to travel, and it's a Canadian show, and I think it's on Netflix.
I think it is too. It was.
And they go to sort of off the beaten path places, not the typical tourist destinations. So definitely check out Departures.
It's a really cool show.
Sour toe cocktail.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember them talking about it, but yeah, want to give me the little
Well, it's just
lowdown?
It's at a certain hotel. What's the name of it?
So it's in Dawson City?
Yeah, it's in Dawson City, and basically tourists go there all the time, and it's I don't know exactly what's in the actual drink, but except for that there's a mummified toe that's in there, and you have to drink it with the toe. And there was one guy who actually swallowed the toe one time, and he was banished from there forever. And just recently, I don't know exactly how long ago, but recently a guy donated his toe and he died, and that was in his will. And so now there's a new mummified toe in this drink.
Okay, because the other guy swallowed it.
Yeah, the
guy.
guy.
Hopefully,
somebody
they weren't aiming to try to retrieve it after the swallowing happened.
It's quite a history, to be honest.
When I think about it, I mean, it would be so in the Yukon, a lot of people would get frostbite. So maybe there's a lot of people losing toes.
I don't know, but.
So maybe there's a lot of toes to make that sour toe cocktail.
If I remember correctly,
does it really taste sour?
If I remember correctly, the guy who actually swallowed the toe, wrote this heartfelt letter saying he was so sorry and that he didn't want to ruin the whole thing and blah blah blah. But I don't think it really worked. I think it was really angered a lot of people. Geez, I should have did the research, to be honest, because I could be making all of this up. So don't take any of this. Take it with a grain of salt.
Misinfo quench.
Yeah, misinfo quench. Misinformation quench.
Yes. The mojito.
Mojito.
So again, lots of debate around the mojito, but according to the Oxford English Dictionary, it probably just takes its name from mojo, which is the Spanish name of a Cuban sauce or marinade that's made with citrus fruit. And so mojito is literally little mojo. Little mojo.
Give me a little mojo. I wonder if it has
anything to do with having a good mojo going on.
Maybe. I mean, yeah, probably.
So, yeah.
Mojitos get the fresh mint in it, right?
Yes. Is that right? Yeah, the muddled mint and the simple syrup and the all the goodness.
Mm-hmm.
It's some good stuff.
They were really good. You can get them here with fresh mint, I think, but it's very rare.
It's hard. Well, yeah, fresh mint's more expensive here, I think. Sticking with Cuba, the Cuba Libre.
Cuba Libre, rum and Coke.
Yes, that's right, rum and Coke. So, and often with a twist of lime.
Yeah.
So they're quite certain that that particular drink came around during the Spanish-American War, which is around 1900 or so. And it was invented, it could have been invented either by an American soldier or a Cuban bartender. Yeah. I'm not sure. But it literally translates into Free Cuba. So it celebrates the island of Cuba's independence from Spain.
Right. Wow.
So it's kind of neat that it was developed during the war.
That used to be my favorite drink of all, rum and Cokes, but I can't drink the Coke anymore, the Pepsi,
Oh, yeah, those are,
too many of them and catch up to you.
Yeah, they can be pretty bad.
But I enjoy them, though.
You ever seen rum or Coke when it comes back up?
No.
Oh, once you take out the liquid, it kind of comes up almost in strings.
Why are you saying this?
I don't know. Cover your ears, listeners. I remember holding back somebody's hair one time when they were
oh God
in my university days and trying to console them through a night of
Were you saying Libres. The whole time no more Libres for you?
I was looking at him like, oh, never anything with Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. If you had a weak stomach, you've probably already muted us.
You know what? This podcast is making me want to drink.
Is it even after that story?
Well, maybe not, rum and Cokes, but everything else.
Let's talk about the martini.
Martini, so shaken, not stirred.
So it's widely believed to have gotten its name really just because it was made, it usually is made with either gin or vodka, but it also is paired with gin or vodka and vermouth. So martini and Rossi's vermouth was often used when the cocktail was originally developed. So that's the brand of
that's
vermouth.
The name of the company?
Yeah, that's the brand of vermouth, Martini and Rossi. So that's why it was called martini. Now, again, there's other people think it's, from named after different people or, but one thing is for sure, it's widely associated with a Mr. James Bond.
Oh, yes.
Who's famous for ordering his martinis shaken, not stirred.
Did he like them dirty?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You like yours dirty.
I do.
Yeah.
It's because of the olive brine, right? We talked about how much in the last episode, how much I love vinegar. I also love olive brine. So, yeah. I
can't stand olive anything. Well, I like olive oil when I cook, but that's about it.
Yeah, olive oil doesn't really taste like olive, so.
No, not at all.
So even though the line was uttered a lot during the movies over the years, the James Bond's movies where he says, shaken, not stirred, it was apparently he only orders a shaken drink one time in the original novels. And it was in the novel Casino Royale, and it was actually a martini variant of his own invention, which he named the Vesper.
The Vesper. Interesting.
Very. I thought so.
Do you have one there for old fashioned?
I do.
Oh. Because I love that drink, but I have no idea why it's called an old fashioned.
So it actually became popular in the late 1800s. So old fashioned is in fact quite old.
Yeah.
And it was to introduce liqueurs into cocktail recipes. So the older, more basic recipes. So what happened was, before we started introducing liqueurs into cocktail recipes, the basic recipes omitted them. So it was basically just a mix of whiskey and bitters. And so those old classic whiskey and bitters types of drinks were known as old-fashioned cocktails.
Okay. Interesting.
So people would order, as people started moving into these more fancy cocktail combinations with all these liqueurs, people would start ordering drinks the old-fashioned way to make sure that they kind of got it the traditional. The people who don't like change.
Right. And it's a smorgasbord of alcohol.
Well, the typical ingredients are kept pretty simple and basic. It's a little bit of sugar, simple syrup, a splash or two of bitters, and then usually just an ice cube in the liquor. So the liquor could be Irish or rye whiskey, bourbon, gin, brandy, rum.
Oh, it could be anything. Interesting.
So there you go. So it's just getting the drink the old-fashioned way.
Yeah.
So it can be quite a few different combinations.
Yeah.
Which is true. I've heard people say that, they order an old-fashioned one establishment and it's quite different than what might be the standard old-fashioned in another. Yeah. All right. We have time for another one?
We have time for another one. No problem.
All right. Let me see here.
A lot of drinks.
There are a lot of drinks. Pina colada. That's simple. Pina colada actually just means strained pineapple in Spanish.
Ah.
Yeah, which is obviously quite a strong, big component of a pina colada. Which is weird because I always thought the colada somehow meant the coconut piece.
Yeah.
But yeah, pina colada, those actual words are strained pineapple. And it was born in Puerto Rico.
Wow.
And became the area's national drink in 1978. That was a good year.
I like pina coladas. I like getting lost in the rain too.
So one story is that there was a bartender at a Hilton hotel, the Caribe Hilton Hotel in San Juan, who developed the recipe. And of course, the recipe is traditionally just rum, coconut cream, and pineapple juice.
And there's a local drink, too, called the Dave Matthews. Did you know about that?
I've heard of this
Have you
drink.
had a Dave Matthews?
I have not.
I have not had a Dave Matthews
actually, you know what? I may have once.
Did you? Well, it was made by the fella who runs and owns the Capitol Bar in Fredericton, New Brunswick. And he just made it when Dave Matthews music was playing, and he didn't know what to call it, and so he called it Dave Matthews.
Wow. I wonder if Dave Matthews himself
has ever had a Dave Matthews. I don't know. That would be amazing. Because as far as I know, you can only get those locally around here. Nobody else really, I don't think anyways, knows about the cocktail called Dave Matthews.
Right. And it's not a lot of musicians who have cocktails named after them that are...
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
It's interesting, though.
Yeah, I don't know if that's just strictly local or not, but...
Yeah. We need a Brett Mason drink.
Yeah, there you go.
You know? Brent, rather, not Brett. Brent. Sorry, Brett. Brent. Anyways, thanks for listening, everybody.
Oh, we need another drink.
Yes. We'll see you in the next installment of InfoQuench.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks for listening.
And remember, you can catch up on past episodes at infoquench.com.
Or just about anywhere else you get your podcasts.
Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
And help spread the word about InfoQuench.
Till next time.